Okay, good morning and welcome to the Meet Your Future campaign. My name is Laura Johnson and I'm part of the Education, Work and Skills team at Greater Manchester Combined Authority. I'm also joined by my colleague Sarah, who's behind the scenes today. For those of you who have joined us before, you might be aware that the Meet Your Future campaign was launched in April 2019 by Andy Burnham, Mayor of Greater Manchester, to enable more young people like you to meet and connect with different businesses and employers to explore lots of different roles and careers. This week is National Apprenticeship Week, and our theme for this week is growth in Greater Manchester. Well, what does that mean? Well, throughout this week in our Meet Your Future live virtual sessions, we will be exploring the industries and the roles and careers that are the fastest growing across Greater Manchester and what opportunities that offers for you, the workforce of our future. You will be able to learn more about apprenticeships, what an apprenticeship and how an apprenticeship might be the option for you after school or college to develop the skills and knowledge required for your future career. In this session today, you will hear from Adrian Ellis, manager of the Lowry Hotel, who will be speaking to you about careers within the hoteliers world and hospitality industry. You will also be hearing from one of his apprentices, Natasha. Hopefully, this session will inform you, inspire you, and highlight why you can be hopeful and optimistic about your future in Greater Manchester. Please make use of the question box for any questions or thoughts you might have. Please ask your teacher to pop any questions into that box and don't be shy, and we'll cover these in the Q&A section at the end. If you would like to use captions or subtitles during the event, please select captions or subtitles in your video controls. So I'll hand you over now to Adrian with huge thanks, and we'll talk to you again at the end in the Q&A section. Okay, one moment.
All right. Right, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Hope you can hear me clearly. Thank you very much for the introduction, Laura. As mentioned, I'm Adrian Ellis. I'm the General Manager at the Lowry Hotel in Manchester. Today I'm going to talk to you about apprenticeships and the world of hospitality. I've been in hospitality around 30-something years, a long time, and very much enjoyed my career, which has been both in the UK and working abroad for 20 years. And now managing the Lowry Hotel for the last 8 years. It's a great industry. It's full of excitement, full of lots of opportunities. Covers a vast range of industries. So hospitality, not only hotels, it covers bars, restaurants, nightclubs, and into industrial catering as well. So lots of different opportunities within our industry. But today I'm going to talk to you about the hotel world, which itself has a vast range of opportunities, and we very much welcome apprenticeships to our business. And in fact, we have several apprentices working in our hotel today. So before I go on to talking about apprenticeships, and I'm very lucky to have Natasha with us, who is one of our apprentices and has been through one of the apprenticeships in recent times. Before we introduce her, I'd like to talk to you about the hotel, what we do here at the hotel, and a little bit about how apprenticeships work at our property. So firstly, you can see the Lowry Hotel. So this is taken from Manchester side. The river you can see on the right hand side there is actually the divide between Manchester and Salford. We're just by a hair's breadth inside Salford, but very, very close to the city of Manchester. You can probably walk there in about 3 minutes. So very close. Our hotel's been here for about 22 years, so a long time. Was originally a Rocco 40 hotel, and now we're owned by Singaporean owners. And it's a very beautiful property, as I said, in a great location in Salford, surrounded by some amazing apartment blocks, shops and restaurants, and a very exciting part of Manchester, especially with the city going through huge growth at the moment. So in terms of where we are size-wise, we're not the biggest and we're not the smallest. So a big hotel in Manchester would be something like 300, 350 rooms, something like that. And a small hotel would be something around 30 to 35 rooms. So we're right in the middle, 165, a sort of middle-sized property. All the glass you can see in front of you there, that's all our bedrooms that look out onto the river. And we've got, of course, rooms the other side too. So we have several categories of rooms. We have altogether 11 suites. They're really nice. You'll see some pictures of them in a short while. So we have some lovely riverside suites and some a presidential suite, which is good, and then lots of standard accommodation and deluxe rooms as well. So lots of different types of rooms. We also have a banqueting room. So this is where we do weddings and birthday parties, conferences and events, and that takes 300 people. And then we have one restaurant and a bar, which has got a very nice, where you can see on that picture, orange and grey canopies coming out. That's in fact the terrace area that hugs the restaurant and bar. In the summertime, you can sit outside there looking over the river. It's a really nice aspect to enjoy a cocktail or a meal and sit overlooking the river, and that's our restaurant and bar. So we have one restaurant and one bar, and we also have a beautiful spa, which you'll hear about later because Natasha works in the spa. She's our apprentice that I mentioned earlier, and we have a spa which we've just spent a lot of money redoing, re-upgrading, and it looks really very fantastic now. So we have a very nice gym there. We have a beautiful studio, we have treatment rooms, and very exciting, we had some new experiences there. So one of which is quite interesting, where we have a cryo chamber. This is a chamber which you walk in and it goes to minus 110, believe it or not, minus 110 degrees, and you stand in there for 3 minutes. It's meant to be very good, rejuvenating you, and I've not done it yet, but I've heard it's fantastic. So we've got lots of interesting facilities in our new spa. So it's very exciting hotel, as I said, and lots of nice facilities. And we have 120 staff, so it's a big going concern. You can see there on the numbers. So 120 staff members, plus we have a number of casual staff members that help with our restaurant, bar, and our banqueting events. So in total, we have something like 180 with 120 permanent staff. So busy operation. And in terms of business, we're mostly having leisure guests here coming for football, concerts, coming for meetings and events. So quite a busy hotel with something like 85% occupancy throughout the year. And it's an interesting place. People coming, in a hotel, if you're working in a hotel, no day's the same. You're always meeting people coming for spa, restaurant, bar, coming to go to a function, going to a wedding, going to an event, going for an afternoon tea. So people are coming for lots of different reasons. And if you come to work here as an apprentice, you have that feeling you're part of a big home. It's like being in a big house with lots of brothers and sisters and mums and dads and uncles and aunts. There's lots and lots of us here, both staff and guests, and it always makes every day very interesting and very memorable. So we'll show you some photos now if we move to the next slide, please. So these has just been refurbished. So we've done the whole hotel in the last 4 years. So the owners have spent a lot of money in refurbishing everything. So this is a standard size room. They're all quite big, 35 square meters. And you can see some really nice features there. So we have very large king size beds, you can see. We've also got nice cabinets on the left there with the TV. It's got all the latest TV programs and channels and digital. We have mini bars stored in that left-hand side unit there. So we have a mini bar and all the modern facilities you would expect, and also beautiful walk-in shower cabinets and very nice bathrooms too. So it's a lovely standard room that we have. And then we also have, as I said, suites. So if we go to the next slide, you can see one of our suites. I don't have time to show you all of them, but this is the presidential suite, and that is in fact a piano you can see in the back there. So presidential suite comprises of 3 separate areas. We have a dining room, which has got a little kitchen attached. We've got the lounge, which you can see in front of you, where we have a grand piano. And then to the left of that is our main bedroom. And then we've got a very nice closet area, walk-in wardrobe area, and a beautiful bathroom. And the bathroom has a steam shower. And the reason we have steam showers there and the piano is we cater for a lot of music artists that come to the hotel. So we have a lot of celebrities, we have a lot of people from TV and film, but we also have a lot of music artists. So sometimes the music artists will use this room and they'll create their own music on the piano that you can see, or they need the steam shower to help with their voice, their vocal cords. Because the steam helps them, and that's one of the requirements we have from our music artists that stay with us. So very popular this week for celebrities that come through, and our hotel's well known. In the 20 years it's been operating, it's well known for looking after celebrities, whether they be from football, from sports world, whether they be TV or personalities from film or music, as I mentioned before. So yeah, very popular hotel because of the suites and the service that we provide. And then the next picture is just a small snapshot of our lovely new spa. So this only opened a few weeks ago. As I mentioned, some lovely facilities. This is the reception desk you see at the front here, and then this goes through beyond this reception area to a studio, to the treatment rooms, and to those weird and wonderful treatments I mentioned before, including that cryo chamber with the -110. We also have beautiful flotation tank, which is another interesting experience we have, and we also have a meditation pod. So these are quite interesting new. It can give a very holistic experience. If you come to the spa, you can get treatments or you can go for various experiences which are very holistic in nature, and that's the purpose of our spa, because we don't have a swimming pool, but we do have alternative treatments. So when I'm sitting in front of students in various, I work with lots of schools, colleges and universities. When I sit in front of students, I think they're always amazed to know how many departments we have in a hotel. So many of you will be aware that we'll have a kitchen, for example, because you watch all sorts of things on TV like Bake Off and other programs that you see. So you know we have kitchens, and you'll know we have a restaurant. Some of you have been lucky enough to go to hotels or restaurants and would have seen those experiences. But there's many other departments that we have both people working at, but we also offer apprenticeships in many of these areas too. So just very quickly going through those, we have housekeeping department. We have 22 people in housekeeping, so they're looking after all the cleanliness in the hotel, the bed making, of course, which we have to do every day. It's a very hard working department, but we also have the longest serving people in this department. So we have our head housekeeper's been here 22 years, but we have a lot of our staff with 15, 16 years service. They're very proud to work in our hotel, very proud to look after the floors and the bedrooms they look after. So people have a lot of sense of pride working in that department. Front office is the checking in and checking out of guests. So when people arrive, again, we have around 15 people there working around the clock. So we have to have a night team as well in front office. So we're checking in, checking out primarily, but also other services there. We have an events department. So this is the one I mentioned to you before, where we have a function room for weddings or for birthday parties or for events. So we have an events department that make those bookings for you. So they run through a wedding booking, for example, make sure the guests are happy with what we're looking for, what they're looking for, and go through all the arrangements for the day. And we have 5 people in events managing that. We have reservations, taking all our bookings for accommodation. So this is a very busy department. We're taking up to sort of 100, 150 calls and bookings a day. So that's a busy area of the business. Food and beverage is all our restaurant, bar, room service and banqueting, all lumped into one area, because if you work in that department, you can work across all 4 sections. So you can work in room service, or you work in the bar, or you work in restaurant, or you end up working on some of the events. And people are multi-skilled there, very interesting department. We have about 90 people there, including the casual workers. Kitchen is obvious, I guess. It's a team with about 18 staff there that look after everything from pastries to making sandwiches for afternoon tea to making full dinners at night time and the breakfast in the mornings. The spa, Natasha will talk to you about the spa. We have a team there of 14, 15 staff members who are therapists. We have people, of course, work on the front line, but also we have people that have a person looking after those special equipment that I mentioned before. Engineering is one perhaps people don't think about, but engineering has 4 people in. And of course, a big building like that, we have chillers and boilers and lifts and kitchen equipment, lots of things that need looking after. So we actually have live at the moment. He started here probably about 3 months ago. We have an apprentice working in engineering. So he's been with us 3 months, doing very well, and he's learning the trade and also working in our department, which is good. Finance is dealing with all the accounting and the infrastructure for finance and accounting that we have. So you're producing management accounts, and you're also making sure we pay all the bills on time and so on. So we have 6 people there. Human resources is a small department, but very important. Just 2 people there, and they're looking after their recruitment of people, making sure our team are getting trained and reviews and developing there. And then sales and marketing, which has got 4 people in, and so we have somebody doing social media. I think that's very interesting for young people these days. It's a newish department, I would say, but they're also working on all the social media and the content to go onto various sites, which is promoting the hotel. And then we have a sales team that are working on bringing new business to the hotel, whether that be events or conferences or new markets or new corporate accounts to our business. So we have a lot, as I said, 120 people working in lots of different departments, and most of these we open up for apprentices to come and work in and experience and develop in. So So we go to the next slide, and I'll start talking a bit about what we do and what we're offering. So we offer anything between sort of 2 and 6 apprenticeships a year. We've got nearly 6 at the moment. We currently offer them in spa, in food and beverage, that's the restaurant, bar, room service and banqueting I talked about, kitchen, business administration, as I mentioned earlier. We also have one person in engineering. So but we open to, these are just the departments we have working currently where we've got apprenticeships, but we actually open up to all those departments I mentioned to you before. So if you've got a specific interest and you'd like to work in the hotel world, I think all those departments and all those hotels, there's 72 hotels in Manchester, all of them will be open up to looking and taking on apprenticeships in the years ahead. Our apprenticeships are varied. They last between 12 and 18 months, quite broad ranging. So we make sure during that apprenticeship, for example, the young boy that's working in engineering at the moment, he's covering a vast array of activities whilst he's working in engineering. So to help him with his studies and to make sure we support his academic part, we make sure we give him lots of different projects and type of work. So he's getting a broad range of skills during that 12 to 18 month program. And we also offer different levels. So we're working currently with levels 2, 3 and 4. Natasha will be talking to you shortly about her experience having completed level 4 in the spa. But we currently have our Nathan, who's doing engineering, on level 2. We have several people in F&B who are working at level 3. So we offer different levels for different people in different times of their career in the industry. And we also use different providers. So the training is often provided by HIT, which is a massive training organisation providing training for the hospitality industry in the UK. But we also offer some local providers. We tend to use best in class. So we tend to provide a training provider that really is good in that particular field. So in the kitchen, we have a local provider here who's excellent and has provided very good support for our trainees over the years and very good for apprenticeships. But we have used HIT in more recent times. Of course, we are also providing hopefully great guidance and training for our apprentices, especially from the operation leaders. So all of our leaders in each of the departments I showed, they're very well aware of the need for apprenticeships and the importance of having apprenticeships in the hotel, and therefore providing support both with their academic work and also making sure as they're going through their experience, they're getting, as I said, a broad range of activities to do. They're involved in projects, so lots of them are doing projects for us, and that they get very engaged. So they're putting into practice what they're learning from an academic point of view. That this is really important for the hotel and very much something we impart on our leaders and our heads of department to make sure they're providing that real life experience at the property. And then, of course, we realise that this can be a progressive step for many of our apprentices that are starting here. So some are starting out right from the very beginning. I think you've got a couple of examples I mentioned today. So Nathan, who's engineering, he's never done engineering before. So he's coming straight in, level 2, learning as he goes. He's got a great leader who's helping and supporting and providing the experience on the job here, and he's also got a great provider that's helping him with his academic part, and that's really helping him move forward. And this will hopefully, I think it's a good qualification for the apprentice to have, and then they'll be proud to receive the qualification and move forward with it, but also could be great for career progression. So once you've done that, they may be able to move on to the next level of apprenticeship, of course, but also helps them move on to the next level in the hotel, maybe as a supervisory role or assistant manager, depends on the department, of course. So we believe it's really important for apprenticeships to work well in terms of providing experience, but also to get that qualification, and then also in terms of career opportunities that it might lead on to. So we go to the next slide, please. Just a recap on what I've been saying with apprenticeship. So one, we're a big fan of it, and I also chair the Hotel Association in Manchester. So I know from my colleagues, there's 70 hotels I mentioned in the city here, and I know we're amongst many offering apprenticeships. So if you are interested in looking at hospitality, what I'm sharing with you today in our hotel, it's happening in most properties, have several apprenticeships available for students coming into the industry. So really good opportunity. Anybody can apply. That's the first thing to say, and all those levels. So we look at apprenticeships at all levels, from from ground entry level positions right up to our leaders who are looking to take levels 4 or level 5. We're offering all different types to encourage people to A, learn, and B, experience the industry. We want to promote hospitality, so as I said earlier, the apprenticeships are important both for our hotel but also for the industry. So I sit on several boards up and down the country where we're also encouraging apprenticeships, and this week that Laura mentioned, it's important for the whole country to really absorb and take on board the need to promote and encourage people to go into apprenticeships. It's a great way to learn, gain work experience and qualifications. I think this is really important for you to have a sort of the things that will help you going forward in a career. You'll get that great experience, and we enhance the experience, as I said, to include projects and other areas of work, so you really can benefit from live work that will help with your academic work, and also you get a qualification. So we look most favorably at people who've been and gone through apprenticeships in terms of their career progress and opportunities for leadership roles further down the line. So it will definitely help long term as well. There's many examples here. So we've got a great example coming up to you in a few minutes time, which will, and Natasha will talk to you about her career and what she's done so far. But we've got lots of other examples, people who've taken apprenticeships and they've moved up to supervisory levels. Some are in fact running departments now. So really good examples where apprenticeships have worked well for the individual and give them a great opportunity. And we provide lots of guidance and support here on property, so not just for the actual apprenticeship itself, but also in general. So helping with your work, with your coursework, with work you have to do in terms of project work. So we're always helping and supporting all the way along. It's never something you take up and we leave you on your own. It's always something that you've got a lot of support from me as general manager, but also from our leaders and from our supervisory team and from the people you work with. And very important to mention that we have a buddy system here as well for apprentices. They can work alongside somebody in their department and help them, support them through their learning and development. Go to the next slide, please. Hopefully it's coming up soon. So so now I'd like to introduce, so you've heard a bit about our hotel and what we do and the support we have for apprenticeships. So never better, of course, to meet somebody who's gone through and been very successful in her career to date. So I'm going to hand over now to Natasha, who will tell you a little bit about her current role and what she's been through, and particularly on what she's achieved from her apprenticeship. So Natasha, who's sitting with me, I'm just going to turn the screen and over to you.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I am the Spa Operations Manager here at the Lowry Hotel, and I've been very fortunate that I've actually done 2 apprenticeships. The first one being my level 3 NVQ beauty therapy. When I first left school, I weren't 100% sure what I wanted to do. But what I did know is that I wanted to learn on the job, because that is how I learn best. So that's what I went and did. I did a year of that, and then I came to the Lowry Hotel. And during lockdown was a big eye opener for me and gave me a lot of clarity about where I want to be in the next 5 years. So I was reading our daily newsletter, what the hotel do, and I saw that they do apprenticeships, because I didn't know. So I inquired about them and I started doing my level 4 team leadership qualification. So I was a head therapist at the time, and I wanted to bridge the gap between a head therapist and how to be in that more operational, that more management role. So that's what I did. And whilst I was doing that, I got to do it alongside my duties, what I was already doing. So the hotel actually gave me time every week to sit there and go to my seminars, which were all through Zoom. All the different departments helped me with different aspects of the course, whether it was to do with finance, whether it was daily operational things, whether it was HR, legislation, whatever it was. There was actually a department here in the hotel what could help me with each sector. So I'd spend a lot of time with them, and then I also did my own learning at home. So I did 39 hours in my working week, but during them times I actually spent a day or 2 focusing on my apprenticeship with the support of the hotel. So I did a little bit of home learning as well, just because I was very, very eager and I wanted to get it done and I wanted to get the best grade possible. So Adrian would help me, a couple of other leaders would help me as well, just so I could really prepare. And I thoroughly enjoyed the course because it opened so many different options for me, whether I wanted to look after my own team, whether they wanted me to progress on to maybe level 5. There were just so many different avenues I could go down. But the things I covered during my course was really, really good for me because I was just given my own team. So I've only recently been promoted to spa manager, and I have a team. There's 13 of us, so there's lots of us. And every single person on the team are very different. So they taught me how to look after each of these individuals and progress them the best way they could be. So I learned about how to manage conflicts in difficult situations, whether that's with a guest, whether that's within the team, and just how we can grow that team to work the best way they can do together. How to build relationships with different co-workers from different departments. So lots of cross-department working, how we can make an event work by using F&B, but also using front office, and just how we can utilize different departments and make that end goal a reality. Different learning styles as well. So my team are all very different, and I learned how to help progress each of them because they all learn differently, whether they learn through practical methods, whether they learn better from visual aids, whether it's different types of communication for them, what could help them by shadowing them doing different tasks. So it really, really helped me grow each of our members. So we've had a couple of promotions in spa to front of house supervisor as well. So we also learned about project management, how the budgets work in spa and for the rest of the hotel, how to manage a team through changes, emotional intelligence, and daily operations. So all those different things really helped me come into the role that I'm in now, because it helps prepare me for different tasks, what might be needed throughout my role on an everyday basis, and how I can also improve the rest of my team in their own personal goals, and also helping them on a day-to-day basis when they're coming into work, how they can get started for the day and how they can basically be the best version of themselves. So that's really helped me today, and I've just been really fortunate to obviously have this brand new spa. But what I can say is that from my apprenticeship, not only did I learn a lot, but I also helped my team as much as I possibly can, because we've actually got the highest staff retention we've had in years. All team members are trained to the highest standard possible, and we actually won Team of the Year last year in the hotel as well, which was fantastic. So we're just having the best time at the minute with our brand new spa, and developing each of these individuals to be whatever it is they want to be in 5 years' time, like I got asked. So we actually have one of our girls is actually focusing now on business admin. So she's doing the same as me, what I've done. She's going into an apprenticeship. She's getting given the time. I'll sit with her and be her mentor, and she can ask any questions she needs. She can do as much work at home as she likes, or she can use her time in work to really develop herself. So there's so many different options in spa, whether you want to go into facilities, whether you want to go into management, whether you want to focus on that front of house experience. So it's just a lot of different career options, and a lot of cross-department working with the rest of the hotel, what we can do. So thank you so much for obviously listening to me, and I've just been supported and encouraged so much at the hotel, which people don't realise until they get here and they actually see how many different options that the hotel has to give us. So thank you so much.
Very good. Back to me. So thank you very much, Natasha, on that. I think you can. What's very clear from that example is where it leads you. So a great apprenticeship that Natasha's fulfilled, but also helped her in her career. as you can see, it's moved her forward. She's now running the spa at a fairly young age, which I think is excellent to see, and running a great department. So not only being through this very difficult time we've been post-pandemic, but she's running it very well with a good, strong team. And I think the apprenticeship has helped her in both learning the subject material, but also in providing that experiential evidence that's required to lead a department. So really well done to Natasha. And as I said, one of the many examples we've got at the hotel. So so that sort of concludes our update for you today. As I said earlier, it's a fantastic industry. I've, as I said, worked 30 something years in the industry, met lots of people along the way, traveled the world, seen some amazing properties and experienced life, which has been fantastic for me. So I've had a great career from working in the industry. Apprenticeships is a fantastic way of you getting an introduction, if you like, to what we do. Lots of departments for you to see, lots of styles of hospitality for you to see, and lots of opportunity for you to progress your career, as you can hear from Natasha. So so that's what we wanted to share for you today, but now leave it open some questions if we have any, Laura, from the audience.
Brilliant. Thank you, Adrian. Thanks, Natasha. Yes, we've got quite a few questions to answer from the chat box, so I'll start reading them out for you.
Sure.
From Alder Community High School, they've asked us, what would make an applicant for an apprenticeship at the Lowry stand out? What are you looking for on those application forms?
So a lot of it boils down to some very basic skill set. What we're looking for is great enthusiasm, great passion for the industry. So you like, particularly what's good if somebody's either been to a restaurant, been to a hotel, seen it, got some not necessarily some experience, but just has a passion and really likes it, and enthusiasm. So willingness to learn, to want to find out more. So what we're looking for is that inquisitive part at the beginning and a bit of energy, enthusiasm about the industry. So that can come about by simply going to places. So if you've been to a cafe or a restaurant, or you've been to a hotel or any of those things where you think, oh, this is an interesting part, and you've got some enthusiasm about it, that's what helps us. So it's the enthusiasm and passion and energy and inquisitive nature. Those are the things we're looking for.
Brilliant. Thank you, Adrian. Another question here says, what excites you most about working in hospitality?
Well, you do that one, Natasha, and then I'll tell you mine.
My most exciting thing is being able to meet so many different people every single day. And from a spa's perspective, I love helping people. So we get a lot of people who come to spa because they want help, or they have injuries, or whatever it may be. They come to us because they seek a solution, and they seek just someone to be kind and to be helpful to them, and just to make them feel better. So for me, my most favorite thing and the most exciting thing is being able to help people every single day.
And I would say it's very much a cliche. I know people say no day's the same, but it really applies to this industry. So if you were to ask me, have I been bored in my 30-something years, I would absolutely say no, because it's very dynamic, fast moving, no day's the same, lots of activities. And you know, some people love it, some people wouldn't like that. But for me, I've really enjoyed the fact that there's a lot of variety, a lot of different aspects of the job, and that keeps it very interesting. So there we are, two different perspectives.
Brilliant, thank you. Another comment here says, congratulations on winning Hotel Spa of the Year. Who would you say is your main competitor in Manchester?
Oh,
good question.
Yeah, very good question. We have quite a few. There is a lot of wonderful other spas in Manchester. So there's a lot of different ones. There's a couple of hotels what I like anyway, because a lot of my friends actually who I trained with when I was in level 3, they've actually gone to these hotels. So to me, my competition is actually everyone who I was training with when I was doing my first apprenticeship. So pretty much all of Manchester at this point. We want to set ourselves aside.
in the city, you've got Midland have got a very nice spa. The Edwardian has a nice spa. So there's a lot of spas, and you know, Hilton have got a spa. So there's a lot of spas in hotels. Going back to the point I mentioned earlier when we were discussing the spa, so a lot of them have got pools and a gym. That seems to be quite standard fare for hotels. We don't have a pool. We don't have space for a pool, but we do have some really creative treatments and the type of experiences I mentioned earlier. So that makes us stand out. I think that we've got something very different. So the package of what we have to offer, I don't think you can see repeated in the city. It's very unique, quite holistic type of thing. So anything from beauty treatments to typical massages to that cryo chamber I mentioned, to classes where we're doing meditation and sound healing. All of that makes it very different and unique to other spas in the city.
Brilliant. Just moving on to another question, which says, which subjects do you think are important to study to move into hospitality?
So hard to say specific, because we are very generalistic in what we look for. Of course, basic English and maths is always useful, as it is for many industries. But then, you know, I think the other ones would have a sort of cursory glance being positive. So, for example, geography, because we are in a travel and tourism business, and therefore that's a loose connection, but that is an interesting one. I think if you were going to go to the spa, for example, if you've done sports, PE, whatever they call it now in schools, that would be good, because you're showing an interest then in the health and well-being part of the business. Even down to engineering, I mentioned we have 4 or 5 people in engineering, and so the sciences would be interested for that. So yeah, I think, you know, generally across the board, as I said, the most important for us is energy and enthusiasm. Good ground schooling of education is important, but rather generalistic. And if you want to take a specific area, maybe a project or a subject, sorry, that's related to that. So health and beauty, for example, would be, you know, if you're doing sports and you like that, that might be an opportunity for that particular avenue.
Okay, brilliant. Another comment here says, will you be advertising many apprenticeship opportunities this year?
Yes. It's very cyclical and doesn't really follow a particular time. So we don't take all apprentices in April or any particular time. It's just when the course finishes, then we loop on to the next lot. So we're always advertising for apprenticeships. So yes, you will be able to see them. We advertise through our website, and we also advertise through CareerScope. By the way, that's an excellent website, CareerScope, which links you to hundreds and thousands of jobs up and down the country in hospitality and with apprenticeships. So yes, we do advertise, and we will take people fairly regularly throughout the year.
Okay, great. Thanks, Adrian. Another question here says, what is it like to be a chef apprentice?
Good. and my gosh, we need them. So if there's one area at the moment in our business across the country that's most in need of employees at the moment coming through, and especially apprentices, is the kitchen. So there are a huge number of restaurants, cafes and hotels opening all the time, and they always need kitchen staff, of course. So looking for young chefs coming into the industry is very important. As we speak, we've just been through on Friday last week 26 interviews for 2 apprentices here, starting here in the coming weeks for that job, for that role, to work in the kitchen. We're going to start up an academy here in the city for chefs joining the academy, taking on an apprenticeship, and then working with the hotel. So there is some demand. It's good to see those 22 candidates coming in last week. But yes, what's it like? It's fulfilling. I think it's, if you like cooking, I think that's a premise to doing a kitchen apprenticeship. If you like cooking, it's a fascinating world. We provide good entry-level apprenticeships, so start up with level 2. So we provide that for people to learn about all the skills of the trade. So you learn about pastry, about fish, about doing sauces, about meat preparation. So we provide all of that as part of the course, as well as all the academic part. And then the world's your oyster, really, after that, and after you've got your apprenticeship, moving up then to chef de partie level, or moving across to, you know, even running your own restaurant or running your own cafe, or then working in a hotel and more senior role. There's a lot of opportunities. So whilst at the moment the country is looking for chefs, the apprenticeship is a strong recommendation. It's good to see some people applying now. And I think going forward, there's so many opportunities for chefs in the years ahead. It'll be a great career for anybody choosing to take it up.
Brilliant. Thanks, Adrian. That all sounds so exciting. So another school has asked, how long did it take for you to get to your position? So if we can have Adrian and Natasha answering that, please.
You go first, Natasha.
I actually joined the hotel 4 years ago. So I first started as a spa therapist, Within the year, I was head therapist, and then we had lockdown. During lockdown, I actually started looking at these apprenticeships, and then when we first reopened, I continued my duties and then started my apprenticeship, and that's 18 months, but I managed to do mine just under that. So I've been spa manager now for about 3 months or so 4 years in total to get to where I am.
Brilliant.
And then for me, so before I tell you my bit, I think it's never a race to the top, but I would say the opportunities for young people these days to get to be a general manager or a leader of a particular business or department is much faster than it used to be. So that's because there's more opportunities and because the level of education is higher and better. So people can take more senior positions, sorry, much quicker than they used to be able to. So for me, I did very traditional route. So I learnt, I went to a degree at university. Then I had several years doing levels that were food and beverage manager, front office manager. I went on to be an operations manager. So probably did that for 3 or 4 years. But my first general manager position was when I was 26, which is quite young. I was lucky to get that. And that was more by, I joined a private hotel, and he didn't have a general manager, and it was the owner who ran it. And he realized after a few months he didn't really know how to run the property, so he gave it to me, which was nice of him. So I was 26 when I first GM role. But I would say if you were to ask me if I started from the beginning, went through apprenticeships, and then moved on, what age could I expect to be general manager? I'd say these days you can be less than 30 years old and you can be a general manager. So it's fairly quick. It was much longer years ago, but much quicker these days.
Great, fantastic, thank you. We've had another question to say, what is your interview process like?
You mean for everything? So I'll just give you a quick ganter through all of them. So for apprenticeships, we've been doing them, as I said, last Friday. George has been doing them online. So we've gone through, we have like a video interview, and that's gone quite well. So we send them a Teams link or a Zoom link, and we've done those interviews as a sort of screening process. So we've done those 22 interviews last week, and then we're bringing 6 of them in this week to spend 2 hours in the kitchen. So that's quite an interesting way of doing it, and that's just to see, because a lot of these people haven't had experience in the kitchen, just to see their aptitude, how they work in the kitchen. So we're doing that in two waves. So firstly by interviewing online, and secondly by bringing them into the kitchen and then meeting the chefs, and then we'll make a decision for those 2 apprenticeships, which will start beginning of March. But we do a whole wide range of interview styles and techniques here. So we do a lot online. We're just interviewing, as another example, we're just interviewing for graduates. We have a 1.5-year graduate program. So those finishing a degree course in hospitality, we take 2 or 3 on every year. So we're doing all those by video link, which is quite an interesting way of doing it. So we send them a video question or 2 or 3 questions, and they have to send us back their video answers, presenting to us, and that works very well. I think it really works very well, shows the style, passion, and what I said earlier, passion, drive, enthusiasm. It applies for many levels in our industry. It also applies for the graduates too. So having an educational background, learning for apprenticeships in this case, is very important for us, but that enthusiasm and energy applies to all levels. So yeah, we use a lot of different styles for interviewing these days.
Great, okay. And we've had another question from Alder High School. It says, how competitive is it to get an apprenticeship with you? What's your ballpark applicants per role advertised?
That also varies a lot. So the 22 for 2, that's the one that's live at the moment. So we've got 2 apprenticeships. In fact, we had 1 apprenticeship, but because of so many people apply, we're going to extend it to 2 now. So we've got 22 for 2, and as I said, we're moving that now to the live kitchen date this week, and then we'll decide. Other ones, I think it really depends on the department. So for engineering, I think we only had about 4 applications for that. That's quite bespoke. You have to be interested in the technical part. It's not for everybody, I know, but we have taken that on. It was just 4 for that. Spa, what would you say for spa? Would that be if you had a spa apprenticeship now, would that be well
Oh, absolutely. We've only recently had one of them qualify who was actually doing an apprenticeship with us, called Millie, and she was fab. So she was the only one what applied at the time. But recently we've had about 3 or 4, so quite bespoke, a bit like engineering.
Yeah, so it can be small numbers. It depends if your department is more bespoke. So spa and engineering, I guess, is quite particular. You have to have that interest. Then you tend to just get a few candidates. If it's bigger, for example, working in food and beverage, or working in the kitchen, you tend to have a bigger numbers because there's more interest, I guess. And this often comes from what's available in the media. If you look at what's in the media, people see kitchens, they watch, everything from Gordon Ramsay to Bake Off, and they see kitchens and interesting. Same applies for food and beverage. So where it's more visible, there's more applications. Where it's less visible, less.
Okay, brilliant. And we've got loads of questions that have flooded into the Q&A box. So the next one is from Elmsbank College, and they're asking, do you provide any work experience or voluntary opportunities?
Yeah, voluntary on request. So we do, if somebody wants to get we don't provide lots and lots of one-day voluntary things, but we do have tours at the hotel which we offer. We do that with lots of schools that come around to see the property, and that gives people a flavour of what we have to offer. So we do that quite regularly. We do have work experiences. We have several people on work experiences as we speak at the moment. And we do offer casual and part-time work. So there's different avenues where you can get a flavour, because I always strongly advise anybody looking at this for a sort of long-term career opportunity, there's no better way than to get experience. So whether you come in and do, for example, Saturday afternoons or whatever day you can do and help work with us, these are paid placements. We do offer them. We're always on the lookout for casual workers, but we do offer work experience as well.
Brilliant. Thank you, Adrian. And from a student, we've had 2 very similar questions, so I'm just going to merge them. And the person asks, would I still get an apprenticeship if I had no qualifications, as in leaving school with no qualifications?
Yes, as long as you apply to what I said earlier. So as long as you've got that ambition. So we're not looking for you to have qualified on anything particular. We're looking for energy and drive and enthusiasm and a real interest. If I'm taking the 22 candidates I just referred to from the kitchen, the reason they're down to 6 has become from their energy and enthusiasm for cooking. It's as simple as that. So we're not looking at their past experience or their education to date. We're looking for that drive and passion. Do you like cooking? Are you interested in the kitchen? Are you wanting to apply yourself? So that drive is by far the biggest factor we're looking for. So the answer is yes.
Brilliant, thank you. And Stockport School have asked, my students would like to know if they could come and visit the hotel to see and experience some of the amazing hospitality on offer. They are showing genuine interest and would like to explore further.
Yes, put them in touch with me, Laura. If you give them my email address, you can happily apply, and we'll arrange a time for you to come and look around, and our team will be delighted to show you, and I'll be happy to meet you, of course, when you're here.
Brilliant, thank you, Adrian. The next question is, can you support students with learning difficulties? And if required, could the apprenticeship last more than 18 months?
Yeah, yes and yes. We haven't a lot of experience of that, but absolutely we have in the past, and we would. So yes, the apprenticeship is always designed on the needs of the business and the employee or the person that's looking to take on the apprenticeship. So yes, it could be extended or varied or altered in accordance to the needs. And yes, I think not only here, I think in the city. So absolutely, any with special needs we very much look at in terms of taking them on for apprenticeship, but also in the city, other hotels and restaurants and bars that also offer apprenticeships very much for people with special needs. So absolutely, you shouldn't be put off by that.
Okay, brilliant. Another question a little bit similar. It says, do you take students with special needs, and do you take students with a BTEC or entry-level qualification?
We don't have anybody currently with special needs, but we have in the past, and we'll continue to look and take people on. As I said, I'm putting my bigger hat on here, so people don't just think it's a Lowry. Across the city, that's also the case. If you apply to other hotels, especially the big international hotels, they'll always do the same. BTEC, yes, we have. Again, I don't think we've got anybody currently, as far as I remember, but we have in the past. As I said earlier, I don't think it's a prerequisite for apprenticeships, but of course it always helps. I mean, again, that's in the engagement that I was talking about before. If you've done, for example, a particular vocational qualification or even a vocational course in hospitality, it helps. It shows there's some enthusiasm behind it. So BTEC, absolutely, but it's not the be all and end all for getting an apprenticeship.
Okay, brilliant. And actually, Adrian, I think that's our last question for today. Thank you so much. We had so many.
We did. Thank you very much. It shows that there's some real passion and interest. So without being swamped by schools, we're very happy for people to let us know if they want to have a look around. We're always doing show rounds here, so please let us know if that's the case. And you know, good luck if you're thinking of a hospitality apprenticeship. As you can hear from us today, we strongly recommend it. It's a fantastic thing to do. Open up a world of opportunity for you, and good luck to all of you that listened today. It was been an absolute pleasure for both of us to join you.
Brilliant, thank you so much. There was just one last question that I see that I've missed. Somebody asked, would you be able to tell us about any of the celebrities who've come and stayed at the Lowry before?
Well, I could give you a one-word answer, but it's probably not enough. We're not allowed. So one of the things that all our employees sign up to when they come to the hotel is we keep the discretion of those people that stay in the hotel for obvious reasons. It's one of the things that personalities come back for, is that our staff are very discreet about the people we stay there. So equally on a call like this, I couldn't share with you all the personalities that stay here, but what I could say, if you look on the calendar in the coming months and you see who's playing at the Arena or Etihad Stadium in the summer months, that you can be fairly sure that those people will also be here. Hopefully that helps.
That's a brilliant insight. Well, we're just drawing to a close now, which leaves me to say thank you so much for joining us today. I think we've had over 350 students with us during this session, which is really fantastic. We hope you found this session really useful and insightful. You can keep up to date with all things Meet Your Future at GMAX, and a link is on the screen now. GMAX is your Greater Manchester Apprenticeship and Career Service platform, where you can find out lots more about careers, apprenticeships and opportunities open to you, of course, including hospitality, as we've discussed today. I'm sure many of you will already be using this, and please do speak to your teachers to find out more. Right now on the screen, there's a QR code for a feedback form. We'd love it if your class could feedback on this session. If you're allowed to scan the QR code in your phone, or the teacher doing it on behalf of you all, that would be fantastic. There will also be a separate one for teachers actually to complete as well. This is really important to us, as then we know if the Meet Your Future sessions are helpful for you and how we might be able to improve them in the future. So huge thanks again for joining us, and massive thanks to Adrian and Natasha for speaking to you this morning. It's so wonderful to have such a wonderful establishment as the Lowry Hotel come to speak to our young people in Greater Manchester. So we're really grateful. Adrian and Natasha, did you have any final thoughts for today?
Just never stop learning. When I finished college, I never stopped learning. When I came to the hotel, I never stopped learning, and you can learn so much and use everyone around you the best you can.
And from me, thank you for listening today. I hope we've encouraged you to look at hospitality. Even if you go and visit a restaurant, bar, or a cafe or a hotel, have a look inside, see if you get that enthusiasm for it. That's how I started. My parents used to take me to go to a hotel, and we had a look inside, and I was really enthused by what I saw. That's my advice to you today. Have that. If the energy's there, apply for apprenticeship, and then the world's your oyster.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Natasha. And thanks again to all our schools who've tuned in. We look forward to seeing you again soon. And this video will be available on our YouTube channel and our GMAX website in the next week or so you can always look back on it for future reference. Thanks again and have a great day.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.